Hey guys, this is Sai Krishna. Got a task to write a test class and don't know where to start? Let's do it step by step. I'll take a realistic Apex class, something you might actually see in a project, and we'll write a test class for it from scratch. So let me show you an Apex class. This is a typical service class. We are creating records, fetching data, and then updating something. So we have a couple of methods in this. Now let's go and write a test class for this. So I have created a regular Apex class called Opportunity Service Test. So my class name is Opportunity Service. So I have named it as Opportunity Service Test. And if you see the major difference between the class, actual Apex class and test class, that is this annotation. So every test class and test method start with this annotation called @istest. So let's start writing our test method for create order. So okay, now if you have a question, why do we need to write a test class? So whenever you want to promote your Apex class to higher environments, you need two things. One is you need a foolproof code. That means whatever code you have written, that should work in all the scenarios and it should not break anything existing. And whatever feature you have developed, it should be able to work in with multiple different scenarios, positive, negative scenarios. It should work as per expectations, whatever expectation you have and the client have or the business have. Okay, and the second one is code coverage. The amount of code you are writing, that should have a coverage, like how much percentage of code is being covered by your test class. And there is a standard set for that by Salesforce, that is minimum of 75%. And some business clients expect it to be 80%, 85, or more than 90% sometimes. So let's see how do you write a test class from scratch for your methods, and how do you increase the code coverage, and how do you test your code actually. We'll see all those things. So let's go to our service class and I'll try to explain you the high level what is my code, what are the methods doing in this class today, right? So I have a method called create opportunity, which is expecting multiple parameters called account name, email, amount. And if you see the basic flow, the step one, it is creating an account, and in the step 2 it is creating a contact, and the step 3 it is creating the opportunity record with those details. And in return it is returning the opportunity ID. So now let's go to the test class and let's write a test method. So now I'll create a method called create opportunity test. So basically my method name, and I have just added test at the end, create opportunity test, and I'll call the method within my test class. Okay, opportunity service dot create opportunity, and then I'm passing the input parameters test, account, test, email, and the decimal amount. Okay, but now if you see, and let me take the store this response in the variable, right? So what is the return type of this method? That is ID. Okay, so let me store this in a ID, opportunity ID. Okay, and but if you see, I'm just calling it like a regular method, right? This is how we call it from anonymous window, or an LWC or somewhere else. But if you want to call it in a test context for test to run a test, it should be called within Test.startTest and Test.stopTest. So this is where we are saying, okay, now I'm calling this in the context of test class. So I'm writing a test annotation, test method with annotation is test, and I want to call, I will be calling my method within Test.startTest and Test.stopTest. And now to actually see if my opportunity got created or not, I will query opportunity, and whatever ID I'm getting here, I'm going ahead and querying that opportunity with the opportunity ID. And let me also add a debug for this. Let me see if I'm getting any opportunity or not. System.debug, and let's say opportunity record. Okay, let's save this class now. And to run your test class, you can go ahead and click on run test here once it saves, and you will get a pop-up. You can close this, no worries. Just go to test tab here and you can monitor your test class progress from here. So it is running, and if you see, whenever you got the tick mark, that means it is completed. If you see, it's completed and it is successful. If it is failed, you will see a cross mark over here and you will see some error. Okay, now let's go to logs and let's see if I got any debug logs. Okay, right, I have added a debug log, right, and I have got an opportunity record with the name test account order. Okay, now let's go back to our opportunity test, and if you go to test here, you will now see something called overall code coverage. So if you go to your class, search for your class name, whatever on which you are running this test class, opportunity service, and if you see the coverage is 66%. Total number of lines are 24, and out of which 16 are being covered with the test method which we have written now. And if you go back to this class here, you can also see from here, okay, whatever lines highlighted in blue, that means those are covered with the test class, and whatever is there in red, that means it is not covered. Okay, now, so what we have done is we have written a, like, we have set up the like we have created a test class, we have created a test method, and we are calling it within the test method. And okay, now I wanted my expectation was that opportunity get created, and I've queried on it, and I've checked, okay, this is I went ahead to I went to logs, and I've checked, okay, my debug opportunity is getting created, done. You don't go and check debug logs every time and see whether my test class is working properly or not, whether it's creating the expected results or not, right? So you have to automate it. So that for that you have to write assert statements. Three types of asserts. Okay, assert, assert equal, assert not equals. So using this assert statements, what you do is you tell the class test class saying that, okay, my expectation is, for example, let's take this system assert not equals. Okay, what we are saying now is system assert not equals null. So whatever response I get, that in this opportunity, that should not be null, because my according to my expectation, my method should go ahead and create an account, right? So it should go ahead and create an account, then contact, and then opportunity. So that's where I'm querying an opportunity, expecting, okay, my code has created one opportunity, so I want to see that, and it should not be a null. Okay, so now I'll save it, and I'll run the test class, and my expectation is to pass the test class to be passed, because I have the opportunity record. See, it passed, right? So now I'll write one more assert statement where I'll use system assert equals. That is, okay, now I have an opportunity, but I want to make sure whether that the opportunity name is something is as per my whatever I have given to it, right? So if let's go back to opportunity service, and let's see what is the name expected here. The name expected here is account name plus space order. That means if I go to account name, what is the account name I'm passing? Test ACC, right? So what is the expectation here? Test space ACC space order. So I want to check whatever I am getting, is it it is as per the uh, actual value. I mean, whatever actual value I'm getting in this opportunity dot name should be same as this expected value. Okay, now I'll save the test class again, and I'll run the run test, okay, to just check if it's working or not. Okay, and similarly you will have just asset. Okay, and the one more thing I want to tell here is you can add a third parameter, that is message. So basically if someone else is coming after you and they want to understand what does this asset actually do, or if sometimes asset fails and then you want to understand why it failed, or what was this main intention of this asset, you can write a simple message over here. See, here I'm saying opportunity should be created and cannot be null. That's why I'm checking not equals to null, and it's an optional field, so you can give it or you can skip it. Okay, so let's see what if your assert statement fails. For example, as per my expectation, I should get an opportunity, but here I'm saying assert equals null. Okay, I'm saying I should get a null opportunity, I should not get an opportunity, but according to my logic, I'll get an opportunity. That means this assert statement will fail. My assert statement is wrong, or it's not working. I have not written the assert statement according to my code, right? So now let's go to the test class and see assertion has failed. So it will give the errors here, and it says system assert exception, opportunity should be created and cannot be null but expected null. So we are saying null, but we got actual value, we got something in the actual value. So that's where that's how you can test and you can fix your code. So this is a simple test where we have not created any test data, but we have just called our apex class method within a test class context by passing some values, and then we have added some assert statements, negative assert, positive assert, according to the expectations. right? And here you cannot no need to stop with one or two assets. You can add multiple assets as per your code. Like for example, my code, I'm inserting account and contact as well. So I can go ahead and query on account record and contact record also with the account name here or the email, and then I can check whether this contact and also account association is created properly or not. So you can add assert statement for each logic you're performing within the method to make sure all of your code is working as expected. Now let's go ahead and write a test method for another method. So if you see, the next method is get high value opportunities. Now let's write a test method for get high value opportunities. We're just simply returning, we're querying on opportunity record with minimum amount, and we are returning a list of opportunities here. So let's go to this test class and write a test method for this. So I have written test.startTest and test.stopTest. Within this, I am calling opportunity service dot get high value opportunities with a minimum amount of 4,000, and then I'm expecting the result to be stored in the list of and the response should be stored in result variable. And then I'm saying system.asset result.size is greater than 0. Let's save this and then let's try to run it. If you see, my asset statement is outside the test.stopTest where I'm checking result.size, but result is declared within the test.startTest. So let me declare it outside and then set this value within the test context. Now let's save the test class and try to run it. Okay, test class got saved. Now let me click on run test and let's see if we get any debug value or not. Test class got failed, uh, assessment got failed, and assertion failed. Okay, let me go and check the logs. So if you see, my assertion was result.size greater than 0. What I was expecting is when I said minimum, when I have passed minimum amount as 4,000, I was expecting a record back, right? At least one record, because I have created a record here in this test method with by passing amount is 5,000, and the minimum amount I am passing here is 4,000. So I was expecting this record here. But let me go and check the debug log if I have received that record or not. Okay, but if you see, this opportunity record got created as part of that method, but as part of this method, when my test method went and queried the opportunity, I didn't got that, right? Because whenever you run a test method runs within the test context, right? It will not go and query from the existing database, okay, actual database, and neither it will not go and query from the other test method. So what you have to do is, whenever you write a test method and you are expecting some logic, some values, you have to first create your test data for yourself within the test method, and then you have to expect your code to go and perform logic based on the test data you have created. That means here, when we are saying I want to query an opportunity record which whose minimum amount is more than 4,000, we have to, there should be a test opportunity record whose amount is more than that, right? So in this case, I'm creating an opportunity record where amount is 10,000, so that I get this record as part of the result, right? But there is a problem here. What it's saying is account ID is a mandatory field, so we have to pass an account ID. So that for that we have to create a sample account as well, account record as well within our test method. So I'm adding the code to create a test account, and then using that account ID in the test opportunity, and then my code should go ahead and query that record, right? So let's run it now and check if it works. See, this time our test class passed and the test assert statement also passed. Let's go and check the logs real quick. If you see here, we got the opportunity log with 10,000, right? So this is what you have to create a test data for within the test method. And if you see, for example, if I have to uh, write a negative test for this and I want to proceed with another test method instead of writing it within this, so let me create another test method where I'm saying test get high value orders to, where I'm creating an opportunity with amount 1,000, and but here in the request parameter I'm passing minimum amount as 4,000, whereas like it just goes and queries opportunity records where amount is greater than 4 or greater than or equals to 4,000, right? as I don't have any opportunity which is greater than 4000, I should get results dot size should not be 1, it should be 0, right? It should be blank, because whatever 10,000 opportunity record which we are creating here, that will not work. This test method will have no idea about the test data which was created in the previous method, right? So you have to create your own test data for this method. So let me save it and run it, and let's see if this assert statement passes, right? So let's go here and see the test got passed, and we'll check the logs. If you see, the second debug which we got, it is blank, because yeah, as per our expectation, we should not reserve, uh, we have not created any opportunity which is more whose amount is more than 4000, so we should not receive. So our assert statement was also passed, right? And if you have observed one thing, whenever you're writing a system.debug, you always try to give a meaningful name, right? So that whenever you're reading the debug logs later, it will be easy to understand. If you see here, debug name for both of my methods is same, so that when I see the logs, I don't understand whether the debug is from this method or this method. So it should be clear. When, for example, here my method name is test uh, test opportunity orders 2, so I am giving orders 2 as a name. So it whenever you give a meaningful name for your debug, it will be easy for you to understand. Okay, so right now we're creating test data inside each method, which is fine for beginners, but in real projects we don't repeat this again and again. We use something called as a test data factory or test setup method, which where we add all the test data, inserting test data records or test logic in that records, and this runs once and can be reused across the test methods. We will be discussing about this test setup and test data factory in future. For now, we should be good with this. Please try to write a test method for the remaining method. We have written test data test method for the two methods, and I have not written the test method for the third one. Let me just quickly run the test class again so that we can see the code coverage. If you see now, opportunity service code coverage is increased to 79%, and if you go to this class and see, it will show this method is not caught. But according to Salesforce standard, the minimum percent is 75. But if you see, we already have 79%, but we have never tested this method. So you should not push promote this kind of code. You should always have test method for all the methods in your class, and you should have a proper assert statement. You should test the actual functionality, whether positive or negative scenario. Okay, so please try to write a test method for this particular method, and let me know in comment section if you are able to do that. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.